Okay, so now we are going to look at the basic anatomy and physiology of central nervous system. So I am trying to link the medical information with these images because it is easy to create connections and linking method of the memorization. So here in this picture, as we can see, there are some basic cells which we will be linking with the cells of the central nervous system. Now this is rocket and it is secreting the thrush coming out from the rocket, and we can link that with ependymal cells because they secrete CSF. Now this rocket is going trying to go away from this planet and it is secreting CSF as a thrush. These cells are ependymal cells. Ependymal cells are located in the ventricle and they secrete CSF and they produce CSF. So we can link the rocket with ependymal cells. And another cells are these micro tiny looking glial cells, microglia. These are the macrophagic and protective immunity system maintaining for the central nervous system. Microglial cells, these tiny microglial cells, we will be linking it with the microglial cells. Next, these are the barrier forming cells. These are the astrocytes. These are the formation of blood brain barrier. Astrocytes prevent drugs and unwanted toxic substance to go inside the brain and they form barrier. These blood brain barriers formed by astrocytes. So we will link that with this. So in this way we can link the different cells. Another cells are oligodendrocytes. Oligodendrocytes form the myelination of central nervous system, oligodendrocytes, while the most abundant are astrocyte cells. So in this way we can memorize the cells of central nervous system. Now this is the simple basic structure of the cells. Next one we will be looking at the anatomy and their function of the different parts of the brain. Now as we can look at, this is the New York Times Square, and when we will enter here we have anterior most part of the cerebral hemisphere. Anteriormost part is the frontal cortex and motor. Now as you can see, these are the common traditional motors used for extracting water. So this motor represents the motor cortex, which is present in the frontal lobe of hemisphere. It is connected with some wires which have current flowing in them, and that current represent and reminds us the that current reminds us the somatosensory cortex. Current reminds us somatosensory cortex because when there is electric current or shock, then we get somatosensory somatosensory sensation, sensory sensation. So parietal lobe is associated with the somatosensory cortex. And the next one is occipital cortex, which is here as you can see the owl is present, which is looking constantly at everything. So occipital cortex is involved in vision. So frontal cortex is motor, parietal cortex is somatosensory, and occipital cortex is associated with the vision. And the next one is there is temporal lobe. Temporal lobe has the function of auditory function, which is present in the temporal lobe, auditory, and also there is Wernicke's area and hippocampus is present in the temporal lobe. So this was the these were the different structures of cerebral hemisphere. And the next one is here you can see Marvel Cinematic MCA universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe MCA. So we have linked this Marvel universe with MCA, middle cerebral artery. And the next one is the posterior cerebral artery PCA, and the anterior cerebral artery ACA. Air condition represents as ACA, which supplies the medial portion of the cerebral hemisphere, and it is present in the feet of this MCU Avengers. So it has innervation of the lower limb. When MCA is blocked, then lower limb does not work properly, and this is we have linked with the feet of the Marvel characters. Another one is PCA, posterior cerebral artery. It is the same owl which is monitoring every activity of the Marvel characters, and it has function of the vision. When posterior cerebral artery is blocked, vision is impaired, and MCU has the function of stroke. When the MCU characters will be there, then the stroke will happen and all the functions, all the movement will be impaired. So MCA, ACA and PCA arteries supplying the different parts of the cerebral hemisphere. So in this way we can memorize different portions of the brain like